I was sitting on the porch the other day, sipping my coffee with cornmeal cake, when I heard a whisper of wind rustling the leaves of my snake plant. In that moment, I felt such a deep peace that it reminded me of something my grandmother used to say, a plant that protects is a plant that speaks to the soul of the house. And that's how the idea for this video came to me. Today I'm going to share with you 15 mystical plants, the kind that don't just beautify the corners of our home, but also act as true shields against envy, the evil eye, and negative energies. Each one carries its mystery, its story, and a subtle strength that silently spreads through the environment. If you feel the air is heavy, if things break for no reason, if the atmosphere seems dense, maybe it's time to bring a little green magic closer to you. So grab your notebook, settle into your chair, and get ready to discover plants that are not just exotic and wonderful, but that also protect with quiet strength. And if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. This is our circle of conversation with soul, herbal tea, and many leaves all around. Plant 1. Caladium bicolor, commonly known as Heart of Jesus or Bleeding Heart. Caladium bicolor. By looking at it, you can tell this plant isn't from this world. Its leaves look hand-painted, as if someone had sprayed hearts in shades of pink, red, and green onto a velvet canvas. Catches the eye, but not just any eye. It attracts the right gaze and repels the wrong ones. That's why people say caladium is a master at detecting falseness. When someone with bad intentions enters the room, its leaves retract ever so slightly. It's subtle, but those who live with it notice the changes over time. Beyond its theatrical beauty, the bleeding heart has vibrant, lively energy that seems to pulse in the air. It's not the kind of plant you leave in just any corner. It prefers soft shade, quiet places, away from too much noise. And like every plant with a sensitive soul, it demands gentle handling and respectful attention. Legend has it that where a well-cared-for caladium grows, falsehood cannot take root. It's an intuitive guardian, one that doesn't shout but watches silently. If you've ever felt like something subtle, almost ethereal, was watching you, it might have been this plant quietly doing its job. Plant 2. Alocasia mycorrhiza, known as giant elephant ear. This is one of those plants that commands respect just by being there. Alocasia mycorrhiza, or as we call it in the backyard, giant elephant ear, has leaves that look like royal fans from an ancient ritual. Big, glossy, almost sculptural. They seem to hold secrets from sacred forests. It's said that ancient Filipino shamans used these leaves to ward off disturbing spirits and protect their huts from negative influences. Even today, in many cultures, it's considered a plant of power, one that repels what doesn't serve, before it even comes close. What's curious is that, despite its grandeur, Alocasia loves silence. It thrives in humid, bright environments, but without direct sunlight. And if you talk to it now and then, yes, talk, you'll notice its leaves grow more vigorously, as if responding to your affection. A dear lady friend of mine swears that ever since she placed one in her entrance hallway, arguments in the house stopped, and I believe it. This plant purifies the air, yes, but it also clears moods. It's like a filter for heavy energy, turning anger into calm, envy into passing wind. But be careful. Never let its roots stay soaked. It needs firm care, but always with a gentle touch. Plant 3. Clerodendron thomsonia, known as bleeding heart vine. The name itself whispers mystery. Bleeding heart vine. Clerodendron thomsonia is a delicate climber. But don't be fooled by its fragile appearance. This plant holds ancient, clean power, the kind that makes you close your eyes and feel something stir in your chest. Its white flowers with a red center look like tiny flames inside a light dome. And it's this contrast that, according to old African traditions, wards off the evil eye. The white purifies, the red protects. Together, these flowers form a silent, beautiful shield. Some say that when a heart is suffering from hidden envy, the bleeding heart vine suddenly starts blooming as a sign, as if to say, I see. It likes places where it can climb freely, like fences, pergolas, or backyard walls. And the more space it has, the more positive energy it spreads. Taking care of it is like tending to a living prayer. It requires consistency, affection, and a touch of spiritual reverence. Many people place it near the entrance of their home or in the front garden as a shield of beauty and faith. And honestly, it's no wonder. Just having one around makes the air feel lighter, like the house itself is breathing better. Plant for Tillandsia xerographica, called the Queen of the Air. This plant looks like it came out of a fairy tale. Tillandsia xerographica, which many simply call the Queen of the Air, is one of the most enigmatic bromeliads I've ever seen. It doesn't need soil. Yes, you heard that right. It lives on air, humidity, and light, as if it were made of spirit and breeze. Its silver leaves curl into gentle spirals, like they're dancing a slow waltz, always seeking harmony with their surroundings. And it's exactly this lightness that makes people say it drives away heavy energies. Nothing dense sticks around it for long. Folk wisdom from Central America says that wherever Tillandsia lives, the air changes. Words become sweeter, thoughts calmer. It's a plant of peace, but also one of energetic cleansing. Ideal for people who feel a heavy atmosphere, especially after strange visits or tense moments. You can place it on wooden holders, hang it in windows, or even display it in glass domes like a living jewel. And the most beautiful thing? It blooms only once in its lifetime. And when it does, it's a spectacle that brings tears to your eyes. They say in that moment, it seals a silent healing cycle in the home. Plant 5 Crinome asiaticum, known as giant lily or tiger lily. Crinome asiaticum is one of those plants you see and immediately feel there's something sacred about it. Its long arched leaves resemble green swords pointing to the sky, and its white flowers with hints of violet seem to dance even without wind. That's why in many parts of Asia and Africa, it's planted in front of temples and cemeteries, not as decoration, but as a guardian. It's believed this lily can block dark forces and transform envy into blessings. It doesn't repel with aggression, but with calm strength. It demands respect through its beauty and the quiet aura it radiates. It needs space and prefers well-drained soil, full sun, and a bit of humidity. It likes to be seen as if it wants to watch who comes and goes. People say that when it starts to bloom vigorously, it's a sign it's fulfilling its role, shielding the home from evil eyes. A neighbor once told me that after she planted one near her fence, gossip about her family simply stopped. Coincidence? Maybe. But those who live among plants know. They see and feel what we pretend not to notice. Plant 6 Codonanthe devosiana, known as angel's tear. Codonanthe devosiana has a name that sounds like poetry, and its presence is as gentle as the touch of an old prayer. With its small white or lightly pink flowers and velvety green leaves, it's often mistaken for an ordinary plant. But don't be fooled. This plant, native to the Brazilian rainforest, is one of the most powerful when it comes to emotional protection. They say it acts as an invisible shield for the household's feelings, especially for those who are sensitive and tend to absorb the energy of others. It prefers to be hung, as if it wants to observe everything from above, away from the hustle and bustle on the ground. Perfect for kitchens, balconies, and more intimate corners of the house. And here's the curious part. When there's tension in the air, its leaves become dull, as if absorbing the weight. But when there's harmony, they shine with a fresh, almost smiling green. That's why many call it a spiritual thermometer. A lady from our orchid group swears that ever since she hung one in the hallway, her grandchildren have been sleeping better and the atmosphere at home has become sweeter. And I believe her, because Codonanthe doesn't just decorate, it cares for the soul of the home. Plant 7 Epiphyllum anguliger, commonly known as zigzag cactus or recurrix cactus. Now, tell me, have you ever seen a cactus with leaves that look like the stitching on an old dress? That's exactly what Epiphyllum anguliger looks like. It's wavy. Almost geometric leaves have an unusual charm. And when it blooms, it produces large, fragrant flowers that open at night as if trying to speak to the moon. That's why many cultures see it as a night guardian, a silent watchman that protects the home while everyone sleeps. It's said that its presence drives away bad dreams, insomnia, and negative thoughts that wander through the stillness of the night. This cactus is epiphytic, meaning it prefers to be suspended. It's often planted in hanging pots where it can receive filtered light and good ventilation. It doesn't like too much water, but it also doesn't tolerate neglect. It teaches balance, not too much, not too little. Ideal for bedrooms, reading rooms, or any place where you seek introspection and silence. Those who live with it often report a deeper peace at nightfall. A neighbor of mine who struggles with anxiety told me that ever since she placed an epiphyllum by her bed, her nights have become lighter, as if something embraces her in silence. Plant 8, Brunfilsia uniflora, known as yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This plant has a name that sounds like a fable. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Brunfilsia uniflora is one of those beauties that changes before your eyes. Its flowers bloom purple, then fade to lilac the next day and turn white on the third. This dance of colors represents time, the passing of emotions. And that's precisely why it's considered a plant of deep spiritual healing. They say it helps transform grief into growth, envy into compassion, and resentment into acceptance. It's all gradually, like the colors it gently reveals. It's a shrub that prefers partial shade and moist, but not waterlogged soil. It grows well in large pots or directly in the ground as long as it receives consistent care and attentive eyes. The scent of its flowers is sweet and subtle, almost like a calming whisper. In many parts of Brazil, traditional healers use it in spiritual cleansing baths or protection bundles. A dear friend told me that since she planted one near her bedroom, the tensions with her husband have eased. Coincidence or not, the energy it radiates is one of renewal and serenity, as if it softly says, even pain passes. Plant 9, Anthurium crystallinum, known as crystal anthurium. Anthurium crystallinum is like a living jewel. Its heart-shaped leaves have a velvety texture and silver veins that shine in the light, like moonlit embroidery. It's a plant that doesn't go unnoticed, and according to ancient Andean traditions, it carries a magnetism capable of repelling dense energies and attracting loving protection. That's right, it doesn't just fend off the evil eye. It also strengthens emotional bonds in the home. It cleanses the air and wraps everyone in a feeling of warmth. Unlike common anthuriums, the crystallinum is more reserved. It prefers indoor environments with high humidity, diffused light, and little movement. It can't stand drafts or careless handling, and perhaps for that reason. People say it teaches boundaries. It helps us protect our emotional space and say no when needed without guilt. A wise lady from our plant group always says, "Crystal anthurium helped me reclaim my place in the house," and I get it. It's a plant that commands beauty, yes, but also respect. Perfect for that special little corner where we keep books, memories, and secrets. Plant 10, Merdania lauriformis, known as heaven's herb. Few people know Merdania lauriformis, but those who grow it know. This discreet little plant holds a power far beyond what meets the eye. It's fine. Deep green leaves may look ordinary at first glance, but their subtle glow hints at something special. In traditional Asian medicine, it's used as a healing herb, but spiritually, it's considered one of the most effective for energy purification. It's as if its presence cleans the surrounding field, undoing negative thoughts and pushing away people with hidden intentions. It prefers partial shade and slightly moist soil, but grows with surprising strength. It's the kind that slowly spreads, gently claiming space. They say it's ideal for offices, kitchens, or balconies, places where energy constantly moves. A woman from Anaz once told me that after placing heaven's herb pots around her home, the arguments that had been happening simply stopped, almost like magic. Is it true? I don't know, but I believe. This plant acts in silence, and maybe that's why it's so powerful. Sometimes true protection happens quietly. Plant 11, Metanila magnifica, known as pink grape. Ah, Metanila magnifica. Even the name makes you want to say it slowly, savoring each syllable. And when you look at its flowers, you understand why. Hanging clusters of vibrant pink, almost surreal, look like jewels suspended in the air. Native to the Philippines, this plant has long been associated with spiritual nobility. In royal gardens of the past, it was placed in strategic spots to purify the environment from low emotions, such as envy, arrogance, and deceit. They say it doesn't tolerate pretense. Where there's falsehood, it wilts. Where there's truth, it blooms with strength. Yes, it's a demanding plant. It likes indirect light, high humidity, and mild temperatures. It does not tolerate sudden environmental changes. But perhaps for that very reason, people say it teaches us to grow roots with intention, not impulsively. It's ideal for calm, almost sacred spaces, that corner for reading, prayer, or afternoon tea. A woman from the countryside of Goiás once told me that after placing a metanilla in her living room, she began to feel a peace she hadn't felt in years. Her daughter, who often battled anxiety, started sleeping better. Coincidence? Perhaps. But in each flower that hangs like a pink tear, there's something that soothes and protects. Plant 12, Oxalis triangularis, known as purple shamrock. Oxalis triangularis is a wonder that catches your eye from afar. Its butterfly-shaped leaves, in a deep purple hue, seem to flap like wings when touched by light. And it's this lightness that gives it spiritual power. In many Celtic and Afro-Brazilian traditions, the purple shamrock is considered a direct channel to the invisible world, able to detect and neutralize ill-intentioned energy before it manifests. People say it seals the aura of a house, creating a subtle shield against the evil eye, gossip, and hidden envy. This plant reacts to light like few others. During the day, it opens its leaves joyfully. At night, they close as if in prayer. It likes partial shade, moderate watering, and well-drained soil. Doesn't demand much, but it senses everything. A childhood friend told me that when someone with bad intentions enters her house, her oxalis closes its leaves even under full sun. Coincidence? Maybe, but those who live with plants know. They see what our eyes can't. Keeping one near the entrance or in the living room is like having a flower-shaped guardian angel watching over. Plant 13, Zamioculca zamiifolia. It's commonly known as ZZ plant or fortune plant. Zamioculca zamiifolia is the kind of plant that enters a home and quickly becomes a silent guardian. Its leaves are so shiny, they look waxed, almost like they were made of jade. And that shine, according to African and Asian beliefs, reflects negative energies and prevents them from entering the space. It's called the fortune plant, but its greatest wealth isn't financial, it's energetic protection. They say that when it's healthy and lush, no evil eye lingers nearby for long. Slow growing, but strong, the ZZ plant is extremely resilient. It tolerates shade, little water, and still remains beautiful. It's a plant that teaches us to endure without losing our shine. Ideal for entrances, offices, or places with lots of foot traffic. Many believe it attracts luck, but I'd say it attracts peace. I've seen homes that used to feel heavy, weighed down. And after a few months with a Zamioculca around, everything seemed calmer, lighter, just a feeling. Maybe, but as someone who's lived among plants for decades, I've learned to trust more in what you feel than what you can explain. Plant 14, Calathea orbifolia, known as round calathea. Calathea orbifolia has a presence that mesmerizes. Its large, round leaves with silver stripes look like they were delicately painted with a fine brush. When you look at it, you feel an invitation to silence, as if it's saying, lower your voice, listen to what's hidden. That's why in many South American indigenous cultures, it's used in rituals of purification and focus. It's believed that this plant not only drives away bad energy, but also chaotic thoughts and poisonous words. A true weaver of harmony, it restores the house's vibration without making a fuss. It loves humidity, shade, and gentle care. It can't handle wind or direct sunlight, and it shows you when something's wrong. Its leaves stain or curl at. The tips. It's a plant that demands attention but gives back with a meditative presence. It's perfect for meditation rooms, bedrooms, or that little corner where you go to breathe. A very wise woman in our plant group told me that since bringing a calathea home, she's been sleeping better and arguing less with her husband. Coincidence or not, one thing is undeniable. This plant brings an aura of retreat, protection, and truth. Plant 15, Taka chantrieri. Known as bat flower or black orchid, Taka chantrieri is without a doubt one of the most mysterious plants ever. Its black, deep purple flowers open like bat wings, with long filaments hanging like shadowy threads. It looks like it came from an old tale, one where nature and mysticism walk hand in hand. It's known as bat flower, sometimes black orchid even though it's not an orchid, and its power is as intense as its appearance. It's said to absorb envy like a sponge and seal spiritual pathways, preventing bad energy from finding a home. This plant needs a controlled environment, high humidity, total shade, and constant temperatures. It's not for just any corner of the house. It likes to be treated like a living relic. That's why it thrives in greenhouses, large bathrooms, or protected patios. But wherever it is, its presence is felt. A friend who grows one told me that since bringing the Taka home, she's never again felt that heavy pressure on her chest upon waking. It's as if the plant watches over her dreams. Strong, eccentric, beautiful, and protective, Taka isn't just a plant. It's a symbol. It's a subtle message that here only light is welcome. And now that we've come to the end of this journey through leaves, flowers, and invisible forces, I want to tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Plants are more than just decoration. They are our silent companions, guardians of our well-being, mirrors of our soul. If life feels too rushed, if the energy at home no longer feels the same, maybe what's missing is that green living presence, one that purifies without asking, protects without judging. Bringing one of these plants into your home is like lighting a candle in a dark corner, slowly. The light begins to spread again. I truly hope that at least one of these species touched your heart, that it reminded you of a corner in your home where a new plant could bloom, or of a situation that might be softened by the silent help of a well-placed leaf. The world is already full of noise. We need more sacred silence, the kind only nature knows how to make. If this video was useful to you, brought you peace, or taught you something new, I invite you to click the thanks button down below. That helps the channel keep going and allows me to keep sharing this kind of knowledge that you can only find among the plants.